Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to Evening Devotion. I'm filming a little early, but I'm going to set it to upload at 6 because I'm feeling pretty worn down. We just had a light front go through, and I could feel it. It was supposed to have gone through last night. I told my wife I don't think so. I think it's still coming. And then when we got home from the store earlier, the wind started to change. It come out of the north. We got a real big one coming in a few days. And all that stuff messes with me, and I'm just wore out. I haven't slept good in a couple weeks now. It's really starting to drag me down. So I figured, in lieu of trying to do it, because I try to film this video closer to the time I'm going to post it, but instead of waiting and feeling worse and not being able to give you the best that I can give you at the time, I figured I'd go ahead and film now and have it ready to go. Excuse me. So today, or tonight your time, we're going to be reading out of Song of Solomon 8:6. Love is strong as death. Now the whole verse says, "Set me as a seal upon your heart, as a seal upon your arm, for love is as strong as death. Jealousy as cruel as the grave. Its flames are flames of fire, a most vehement flame." What in the world is Solomon talking about here? Let's find out. Go right to the top, longing for her beloved. "Oh, that you were like my brother, who nursed at my mother's breasts. If I should find you outside, I would kiss you. I would not be despised." Now, there's not incest going on here. It's the closeness of him being the brother. It's not that he's actually brother. It's not, a lot of people misunderstand. It's talking about the closeness, because if it's family, you're very close. "Who nursed at my mother's breasts." You can't get any closer than that. "If I should find you outside, I would kiss you. I would not be despised. I would lead you and bring you into the house of my mother, she who used to instruct me. I would cause you to drink of spiced wine, of the juice of my pomegranate. His left hand is under my head, and his right hand embraces me." This is a very close, intimate communication and connection. "I charge you, O daughters of Jerusalem, do not stir up nor awaken love until it pleases." There's a time for everything. Remember Ecclesiastes, there's a season for all things. "Who is this coming up from the wilderness, leaning upon her beloved?" Who is this coming up from the wilderness, leaning upon her beloved? I love to sit and think about what is being spoken of here, because there's more meaning hidden in the words. "I awakened you under the apple tree. There your mother brought you forth. There she who bore you brought you forth. Set me as a seal upon your heart, as a seal upon your arm, for love is as strong as death. Jealousy as cruel as the grave. Its flames are flames of fire, a most vehement flame. Many waters cannot quench love, nor can the floods drown it. If a man would give for love all the wealth of his house, it would be utterly despised." Love is the most powerful motivator. You know people by their actions, and their actions are usually driven by love, but sometimes the context of that love is very different. Some people it's love for others, some people it's love for themselves. Final advice, verse 8. "We have a little sister, and she has no breasts. What shall we do for our sister in the day when she is spoken for?" And when you look at that, that's, the having breasts is a sign of fertility. "If she is a wall, we will build upon her a battlement of silver. If she is a door, we will enclose her with boards of cedar." Now, for women that weren't born with very big breasts, how are you going to nurse the kids? Well, obviously they can, but women with larger breasts seem to do better. It's getting into the structure of the body and stuff like that. But he's talking about if they're lacking something. So if she doesn't have something that she needs, she's lacking something. And the little sister, to me, it's referring to Judah. What's she lacking? She's lacking an important attribute that would help her. "If she is a wall, if she's flat, we will build upon her a battlement of silver." We're going to make her better. We're going to grow faith. We're going to build. There's so much hidden in this book. "We will enclose her with boards of cedar. I am a wall, and my breasts like towers. Then I became in the eyes as one who found peace." So a wall of faith, a wall of fortitude. Towers, you have to have towers. That's what you use to look down upon the enemy and to be able to see far away. Then I became, it's protection, then I became in his eyes as one who found peace. Found the beloved. Solomon had a vineyard at Baal Hamon. He leased the vineyard to keepers. Everyone was to bring for its fruit 1,000 silver coins. My own vineyard is before me. You, O Solomon, may have 1,000, and those who tend its fruit 200. You who dwell in the gardens, the companions, listen for your voice. Let me hear it. Make haste, my beloved, and be like a gazelle or a young stag on the mountains of spices. So there's tons of, I don't really want to say allegorical. I mean, there's a little bit. To me, it's more, it's descriptive. But it's describing something else, even though it's speaking on something completely different. And this book stirs up a lot of lust. It's just the way the book is worded. But when you stop to think, oh, wait a minute, what is he really referring to? There's so much hidden in this book. You can spend your lifetime studying the Song of Solomon and never even begin to pull everything out of it. It is chock full of messages. Very important messages between Jesus and his bride. Whose love can this be, which is as mighty as the conqueror of monarchs, the destroyer of the human race? Would it not sound like satire if we were applied, or if it were applied to my poor, weak, and scarcely living love to Jesus, my Lord? I do love him, and perhaps by his grace I could even die for him, which would be a wonderful blessing. Not everybody is allowed to. Not everybody has that honor. But as for my love in itself, it can scarcely endure a scoffing jest, much less a cruel death. And this is true. Our love is nothing like we would like it to be. Surely it is my... Luckily, Jesus loves us enough for both of us. Surely it is my beloved's love which is here spoken of, the love of Jesus, the matchless lover of souls. His love was indeed stronger than the most terrible death, for it endured the trial of the cross triumphantly. It was a lingering death. See, nails didn't hold him on the cross. Love did. I'm sure you've heard that before. Nails didn't hold him up. Love did. He chose to be up there. But love survived the torment. A shameful death, but love despised the shame. A penal death, but love bore our iniquities. A forsaken, lonely death. Everybody left him when he was on there. It was him and the other two guys in the guards, and that was it. From which the eternal Father hid his face, but love endured the curse and glorified over all. Never such love, never such death. It was a desolate duel, but love bore the palm. What then, my heart? Hast thou no emotions excited within thee at the contemplation of such heavenly affection? Yes, my Lord, I long, I pant to feel thy love flaming like a furnace within me. We need his love in us. We can't come up with that kind of love. We can't even begin to build that level of love. We need him to give it to us. We need it imputed. Come thou thyself and excite the ardor of my spirit. For every drop of crimson blood does shed to make me live. Oh, wherefore have not I 1,000 lives to give? Why should I despair of loving Jesus with a love as strong as death? He deserves it. I desire it. The martyrs felt such love, and they were but flesh and blood. Then why not I? They mourned their weakness, and yet out of weakness were made strong. Grace gave them all their unflinching constancy. There is the same grace for me. Jesus, lover of my soul, shed abroad such love, even thy love in my heart this evening. I can tell you with full certainty, with full confidence, from Scripture, that when the time comes, if it ever comes, if it's designated for us to die for him, because not everybody, it's not for them. It's not for everybody to die for the Lord. Some people get that distinct honor, some people don't. But if it ever comes, he will give you this love so that in the instance of the challenge that they bring upon you, turn away or die, you will look at them with a smile and say, I'll take death, thank you, because I love him more than all of this, and I love him more than all of you. I choose him over all of this. So do what you think is right. He will give you that love, that confidence, that unshakable confidence. He'll take away the fear. He'll subdue it. and make you to stand bold and triumphant, that no matter what they do, it will have no effect on you. I remember, and I can't remember the guy's name. Was it a guy or a woman? I can't remember which one. It was way back, hundreds of years ago. But it was, I believe, Fox's Book of Martyrs talks about this person. But a big argument had happened, and they hadn't tied the person up yet or put him on the fire thing to burn him. And I believe it was a woman. She gave this amazing speech, convicting them all. I mean, laying in, just lacing into them, both feet right in the chest, and tore him a new one. And she said, there is no person here who takes my life from me. I didn't have to come here and turn myself in. I chose to be here. I came here because this is what was granted to me by our gracious God to allow me to die in his name, for which you accuse me. So I offer my life as sacrifice for him, because this is what you seek to kill me for, because I loved him more than I loved you. So if that's what's going to happen, then I choose this death. And she climbed up on top of the thing and stood and said, tie me or not, I'm not moving. And they were going to, evidently they were not going to do it. No, no, no. You said this was what was waiting for me. I'm here to receive it. You either do it, or I pray the Lord curses every one of you. And they burned her. And she stood there. I think it was a woman. And she stood there. And they didn't tie her to the post. She never moved. She took it. That's something that doesn't come from humans. That's something that comes from Lord. That's a love you cannot conquer. You cannot overshadow or conquer love. If love is present, it will not be overcome. I've had so many people in my life try to get between me and my wife, try to get me to divorce my wife, friends, family especially. And then me, myself, and the mistakes that I've made. But the love we have for each other came through all of it. It's scarred, it's torn, it's crippled and broken. But that love is there. And now that everything has come full circle in our lives, and we've both confessed this to each other, I don't care who it is. I choose you over all of them. That's how it's supposed to be, because when you read in Ephesians 5, it gives the description of what a man and a woman, when they come together, are to become one flesh and to be dedicated to each other with a love unshakable. The two shall become one flesh. And at the very end of that chapter, it says, I speak concerning Christ and the church, because Christ and the church have the same relationship. The way we love each other in marriage, as a man to a woman, is the way we are to love the Lord and the way he loves us. That love cannot be broken. Because when one is weak, the other is strong. When the other is weak, the other is strong. In our case, the Lord is always strong and we're always weak. But the fact of the matter is, that's how it is in a marriage. That's how it is. It's a perfect picture of this. It's a perfect analogy of this. Of what we have waiting for us in him. Of what resides for us in him. And so we go and we listen to other people and we hear them talk about how if you're not doing this, the Lord's not going to have nothing to do with you. Oh, you better watch out, because if you do this, you make a mistake, if you sin, if you don't follow the commandments perfectly, if you do all these things, it's impossible for you to do. But we can do it because we're better than you. You can't go to heaven. That's not love. Because love forgoes all those things. And says, I love you with a love that supersedes and surpasses all of that. I love you with a love unshakable. That's the love he has for us. And if the time comes, he will place that love fully in our hearts, in our chest, so that if the time comes and we have been given this wonderful privilege of dying for him, we will stand in full confidence. We will stand in full confidence and have absolutely no qualms and no fears. Lord, I commit my spirit into your hands. Because when they stoned Stephen, that's what he did. He had just gotten saved, and he was the first official martyr. First official according to the Bible. There were others before that. All those kids at 2 years old were martyrs, but that was a little bit of a different case. But he was the first official martyr after the Lord ascended. So important was it that the Lord stood Because Stephen said, the Bible says Stephen looked and saw him standing. He was the first one to enter heaven as a martyr. And what did he do? He was getting hit with big giant rocks, and it didn't even faze him. He just kept his eyes on the Lord. And he stood and spoke with bold confidence and with bold love, telling the truth, because the Lord put that in his heart. And he showed every single person standing there, especially the ones throwing the rocks, how powerful the love of God through Jesus Christ is, that it can make a person not even flinch when their life was about to be extinguished, but instead look forward to it. So as we walk across this earth, as we move through this life we've been given, that love starts to manifest in us. And in some cases it's less, some cases it's more. Sometimes it depends on us because of the way we are. But in most cases it is unnatural. And I've had people before talk about what you do. Just for me personally, I'm not singing my own praises here. But I've had people tell me this, and I don't understand it. What you have, the type of affection you have for others is unnatural. I'm like, I don't understand what you're talking about, because to me this seems normal to be this way. It seems normal to care about people this much. And I've had multiple people over the years tell me that the way you are, that's not normal. That's unnatural. There's nobody like this now. I had one guy tell me, this is very unique, because in all the people I've known in my life, I've never seen a person like you. I've never experienced this before. You are an anomaly in this world. I'm like, I don't know how that is. I don't understand what you're talking about, because to me, this is normal. This is how everybody should be. But I'm learning that that's not the case, because almost nobody is like this. I don't understand it. And now, at this point in my life, with what I know now, the only conclusion I can come to is that it's the love of Jesus Christ, and he was putting it in my heart all them years ago. To have this unnatural connection and affection for others, that I would shed tears for them, worry about them, care for them, love them enough to tell them the truth even if it hurt their feelings, to be there for them even when they treated me badly. I can only give it to him the credit, because in me that doesn't exist. It is only because of him that it is in me. He placed it there, and it's glorious. But I still don't understand why people, even now, I still don't understand fully why people have such a hard time understanding that. Except that it doesn't exist. Love of many has grown cold. And it's been happening for a long time. And I don't know. Because I've never known any other way than this. I've had to suppress it. I've had to squash it. When we get to heaven, every one of us who's had to suppress that expression of perfect love for anyone around us will be able to not only experience it, but to share it with others full strength without holding it back, because that will be normal in heaven. Here, it's not normal. People don't think that way. They don't believe that way. They don't even operate that way. It doesn't exist within them. The Lord has to put that in you. There, that's the rule of the day. Of all the things I look forward to the most is to go to heaven and experience that level of perfect love, that it permeates everything. It vibrates. It's living. Here we can experience it. The world won't allow it. Tried when Jesus came, they killed him. With other people that came in his name, they killed them too. Anybody who lives like this does nothing but live a life of torment, because the ridicule never ends. It never stops. Even to this day, when I don't go talk around and exist around many people, it's still there. I can't express it because the world doesn't allow it. The only person that I can even partway express it in any sense of fullness is with my wife. But even then, it's still limited. The only person that I can express that love truly with is Jesus Christ. And this is what makes the Song of Solomon such an important book, because it is him expressing it back to us through Solomon in perfect words. So that book, though it may stir the lust up in a lot of people that read it, When you read it from a place of pure affection and love, it changes the narrative completely. Because now it's like he loves us so much. Right now, that can't be fully expressed. He does it through the Spirit, but that can't be fully expressed. But when we get to heaven, watch out, because its weight is going to be so heavy you're going to fall down. You won't even be able to contain yourself. That's what I look forward to the most. Because most people don't realize how painful it is to have to hold back. Because you know that if you express yourself honestly, the world will hate you for it. Everyone will hate you for it. And there are very few people that I've met that are in the same situation. Stanley, over in India, my brother Stanley, he changes channeling to Kenny. He gets it. He feels it too. I see it in his messages. YB. So many others. It comes across through your comments. And though we're not in person, I can express that affection with you guys. But even in my own house, I can't fully express it. But I look forward to that day when there will be no more limitations to it, when there will be nothing else holding us back, and we can love him, he can love us, and we can love each other in the most perfect way possible. And that will be in heaven. And the Song of Solomon tells you about it. It expresses it in such detail. That's why I look forward to heaven. The ultimate form of truth. There's nothing better anywhere than with him. Just wait. You don't have to believe me. Just wait. You're going to see for yourself. Some of you already know what I'm talking about, but you're going to see for yourself. Just wait till we get there. And it will be like nothing you could possibly imagine. I'm glad most people, hopefully most people, haven't had that experience. Because it's very painful to hold that back. And to hold that in. And to know you live somewhere where you can't express it. To live in an environment where you can't be that way. It's very painful. It's a burden. It's a burden I don't wish on anyone. But I'd rather have that burden than anything else. Because at least I know the ultimate end of that is that burden will be lifted, because at that time when we stand before him on the day of redemption, we shall be able to express that love to him like we want to, with nothing restraining us. And he will be able to express that love to us with nothing getting in the way. And it will be perfection. You just can't find anything better than that. I love you all very much. And when I say that, I really mean it. I know a lot of people say that. When I say words, I really mean what I say. Having never met any of you, I love you all very much. I care for you all deeply, and I'm very thankful that you guys are here and that you're sharing these videos. Because the one thing this world has lost more than anything is a sense of love and affection for each other. Oh, they call it love. It's not love. It's all lust. There's no love out there. I see it in the way people treat each other, in the way people look at each other, the way people talk to each other. And I notice that whenever somebody like me comes in and it's like somebody turned on a massively bright light, and people are either attracted to it or repelled from it. People either run away or come towards me. And I see it, and I never could understand it, but now I do. It's him. It's his light shining. So I, more than almost anybody, I say that, but I'm sure there's more, look forward to going home with a greater urgency and a very controlled expectation. because I have to control it. The world won't accept anything else. Time is short. Very soon, all this will disappear. And we will get to stand in his presence and see his glory as the only Son of God, King of kings, Prince of princes, Lord of lords, with our own eyes. I love you all very much. I bless you all in Jesus' name, and I'll see you in the next video.